tumors in a majority of the test animals. Most Americans don't know anything about these discoveries. Major U.S. newspapers don't carry these stories, which ran once only on AP and UPI. The ominous part is that this is not the first time scientists have discovered THC shrinks tumors. In this 1974 Medical College of Virginia study, which was funded by the National Institutes of Health, they were trying to find that immune system was damaged by pot. Instead, they found THC slowed the growth of 3 kinds of cancers, lung and breast, and a virus-induced leukemia. The DEA shut down the Virginia study and all further cannabis tumor research, according to Jack Herer, who reports on this event in his book, The Emperor Wears No Clothes. The Madrid researchers reported in the March issue of Nature Medicine that they injected the brains of 45 rats with cancer cells, with THC, etc. The THC left the rats undamaged. Any of the untreated rats died. The THC-treated rats had amazing remissions of their cancer. Careful MRI analysis of all those tumor-free rats showed no signs of damage related to necrosis, edema, infection, or trauma. They also examined other potential side effects and found none. This is the first time since '74 that THC has been administered to live tumor-bearing animals, even though the early research already confirmed what it could do. This is disgusting. Now, DEA, how can you justify keeping cannabis on Schedule 1, and how can you blame people for utilizing cannabis in their own health regime when the studies clearly show medical benefits? Medical marijuana. Now, Schedule 1 requires that there is no medical use. How can the federal government be giving marijuana to 6 current medical marijuana patients under the IND? If there's no such thing as medical marijuana? How can the pharmacies of the world stock Marinol, the synthetic equivalent of one of the THC, one of the cannabinoids in pot? If there's no such thing as medical pot, all of those things would be impossible. So therefore, Schedule 1 is illogical, improper, unconstitutional, unscientific, and it must be changed.
There are no deaths from cannabis use anywhere. You can't find one.
In 10,000 years of known use of marijuana, there's never been a single death attributed to marijuana. There's 400,000 deaths in America alone every year that are directly attributed to tobacco.
I've heard that you have to smoke something like 15,000 joints in 20 minutes to get a toxic amount of delta-9 tetrahydrocannabinol.
I have to confess, it's all about the cess. Hey, are the original this, are the cannabis, the original this, that I put it in a me pill and it cure me sickness, are the cannabis, the original this, that I put it in a me pill and it cure me sickness. Open your ears and listen to me argument. That has link up with the aids and government. Them go ahead and then them keep a conference. That has what we say and lick the poker for the best. Them ask the question, what a weed is this? Them get fi find out it can make fabric. Them do a research from the ganja, yeah, and get fi find out it can make paper. Now be touch them to the other class. Cannabis, they put it in a eye drops. They even put it in a painkiller. And the same cannabis, it cure me asthma. And the cannabis, the original this, that I put it in a me pill and it cure me sickness. And the cannabis, the original this, that I put it in a me pill and it cure me sickness. Oh yes, it's all about the cess. Ha! Oh yes, it's all about the cess. Oh yes, oh yes. To smoke the weed I smoke occasionally. I only smoke it when it's necessary. Oh Lord. So talk you talk and talk about the weed, cause what I know is what I believe. To wash my clothes and cook my food and put me in the right mood. Take a job for the weed and me both take a lift and the cannabis. Hey, if you understand, say no for hide and seek. Lawyers and doctors a hide and sit. It's a government, they ma hide and sit. Well, the people never use the cannabis in a Holland. They know how to hide and sit.
There are diagnoses at near epidemic proportions for kids in this country: ADD and ADHD, attention deficit disorder, and attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Fair or not, they are so common as to become part of the vernacular, referring to our collective short attention spans and inability to focus. Don't mind him, he's got ADD. According to a member of the American Academy of Pediatrics, when our nation's doctors encounter a patient with one of these disorders, they go right to one drug, methylphenidate. You may know it better as Ritalin. But there is a lesser-known treatment, one that may, in fact, be more effective with fewer side effects. Cannabis. You may know that better as weed, reefer, Mary Jane, marijuana. Dr. Claudia Jensen is a clinical instructor at the University of Southern California and a practicing pediatrician who advocates the use of medicinal marijuana for the treatment of ADD and ADHD. Dr. Jensen, there are parents who are no doubt thinking as they watch this, without any kind of analysis or any kind of medical explanation or the expert testimony of a doctor who has listened to patients, that makes no sense to them. The idea that they are fighting on one front the influence, the pernicious influence of marijuana in a teenager's life, a kid's life, and yet you are here saying that this can be of enormous value in treating this rampant and life constricting disease. How do you respond to people who have the knee-jerk reaction? How could this possibly be any good?
Well, first of all, you're right. This is a potentially life-debilitating condition for a lot of children and adolescents. They become very angry. I think the answer to that question is that it needs to be evaluated by a physician before it's recommended to a child or an adolescent. And the truth is that one of the reasons that adolescents have an increasing use of cannabis and marijuana in this country is because they've been lied to. They've been told that this is a very dangerous drug and that it has no benefit. And unfortunately, that's not what they experience in the streets. And I think it's more appropriate to bring it up out